Welcome back to episode 2 of Friendship Smart. I've got Michelle with me again, the author of Friendship Smart. Welcome, Michelle.
Welcome, Ali.
Episode 2 is all about helping our kids make sense of friendship.
Absolutely. And it's based on chapter 1 of the book, isn't it? Which is our principle of recognition.
It certainly is.
I'm kind of really excited talking about this. You can tell, hey, I'm wanting to host myself.
You really are. You can jump in because it's your book.
I'm leaning back.
Go. As you were writing it, we were talking through the writing process, and you talked a lot about you want to help parents make sense and kids make sense of their friendships.
Yeah.
That's what your goal is.
Yeah.
But the principle of recognition, your first chapter, as I was reading, everything sort of hinges from this point in the book.
It absolutely does, and it flows through every other principle. But kids never start with recognition.
No.
It starts with this fog of uncertainty and this gut sort of feeling, is this right? Is this wrong? Does this feel right? Am I the one wrong? Is someone else the one wrong? And they come home with this kind of like, did I have a bad day or didn't I? Or is this just what, I'm supposed to feel like?
Yeah.
And so I don't think our kids really recognise what a quality friendship is unless we teach them what it is.
Absolutely. Can you tell me, what is the principle of recognition? I'm picking this book up. Tell me more about it. What does that mean?
I've actually built a friendship framework because typically we've given kids red flags and green flags or a North Star checklist to recognise what a quality friendship is.
Michelle, I could tell in the book as I was reading it, you have some passionate views on this. Tell us about, because look, we use those terms a lot when we're talking to our kids, because sometimes we can be parents and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like we don't have the right words and we default to things like red flags, green flags. But is that what we should be doing?
Well, I want to be really clear. There's an absolute place for it, but I want to actually say and.
Okay.
I think we need to build more into it than that, because when I've gone into classrooms, I don't see red and green kids. And when we resort to colour coding, we are in big trouble. I often go into classrooms and teachers say to me, our friendship program has got red flags and green flags. And I feel like going, but it's not enough. It is so not enough for kids to be able to navigate friendships and understand how they work. And those shining North Star checklists, for crying out loud. Like even at 50, Ali, we are not that type of friend. It's like, they circulate on social media and I read them and I think if we are giving our kids a checklist like that and they go to school and they can't even find one friend who lives up to that North Star checklist for longer than 30 minutes, we're giving them an impossible ideal to find. So I've often talked to kids about good enough friends, and it is actually a very similar philosophy as good enough parents because we're all humans. And I've often thought to myself, I go into classrooms and I don't see North Star. I see north, south, east, west. And right in the middle of it all is humanity and imperfection and a whole lot of kids trying to work themselves out. And that's where I've built this framework that's based on research. It's based on what the research says about what long-standing romantic and platonic relationships hinge on. But I've built it into a framework that's very visual. It's a diagram that kids can see at a glance and understand.
Tell us more about the Friendship Smart framework that you've created to help us navigate these conversations with our kids, to help them identify how do I choose good friends? How do I be a good friend? Tell us more about that.
I'm flipping excited about this. Now, I'd love to, and I will go into more to have a whiteboard soon and do some stuff maybe on social that I can unpack this.
And your tour? That will be something that you're going to be unpacking?
I so am. If I can get like a mega screen or a mega whiteboard that I can draw on, especially when I do tours for kids, like teenagers and tweens and teens, yes, I'm going to do that because there's nothing like a good visual, and there's 12 Friendship Smart shapes in the book because, okay, there's 3 elements to the Friendship Smart framework: safety, chemistry, and effort. Okay. And they are 3 elements of the triangle.
Okay.
So what would you call ends of the triangle? Help me out.
Points.
Points of the triangle, right? Safety, chemistry, and effort. All of those 3 exist on a sliding scale.
Right. Okay.
So the shape of the triangle actually moves. Those elements actually they move, so they're not stagnant. Relationships aren't stagnant. They're not red and green fixed, okay? So they've got texture. They've got vibrancy. We can't expect the same thing from people day to day. We can't label, fix and categorize people. We've actually got to realize that human beings have got fluidity about them, and so do relationships. And when I have tested this in classrooms and worked with kids, I talk to them about the potential for shifting the shape because of the fluidity of those things. And so I've built 12 friendship smart shapes based on those three elements moving. Oh, it's exciting. And then I've got like the situational friendship, the dramatic friendship, the one-sided friendship, the barely there friendship. Because when you see those three elements, like 2 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, you can see how friendships look and feel. And I want kids to be able to instantly see their friendship through these diagrams.
I love that. So it gives them a visual of what they need to work on, or maybe what's not working in the friendship.
And how they are inserting themselves into a friendship, or possibly how somebody else is. So it's reciprocal. Yeah. It's got movement. And my ideal, or my North Star, is the balanced friendship that's actually 7 out of 10. So they're seeing safety, chemistry and effort show up 7 out of 10.
Okay, so not 10 out of 10.
Not 10 out of 10.
Why?
And definitely not 11 out of 10. I call that the fused friendship. Okay, so two people are inseparable. Okay, they've lost their individualism. All right, so they're not able to function without the other person. That's not a healthy friendship.
Right. Okay.
So much to say, Ali.
I was going to say there is so much more, and I think if you don't have a copy of Michelle's book, Friendship Smart, you need to get it, because Michelle goes into so much depth and explains it so beautifully. And we have something exciting on next week's podcast, Michelle.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. You're going to be interviewing someone.
I've got mum of 2, a son and a daughter, who I have talked extensively with throughout the writing of this book, to come in and talk to me about how she's used these shapes in her home.
So it's like a practical way that we can continue that conversation at home. But if you haven't done so already, you need to get your hands on a copy of Friendship Smart. It is going to change your life, change the way you talk to your kids about friendships, and change their life.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Not for just now, for the rest of their lives.
So look out for Michelle on Michelle's social media and her website for more details of her tour, to order her book. That's your place to go. And we can't wait to see you next week.